Welcome. The Sloan class of 2015 welcomes you to the Sloan Summit of 2016. In this constantly evolving business landscape, or in the case of Brexit, changing overnight, the theme of this summit is the new norm. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers and panelists today to share their insights into what may be the new norm. Today is the third year of the Sloan Summit. We have Jim Smits. Jim, where are you? Leanne, Mihai, and others from the class of Sloan 2013 to thank for initiating the 2014 First Sloan Summit. Can you believe it that we have over 170 registered attendees today, which is amazing for an event which is only 3 years old. We have 10 of which, 10 or more, who I suppose we call our Platinum Club members, who've attended all three. And we have 40 plus, who I'm pleased to say are repeat customers. We have some here amongst us today who are Sloan's going back over 30 years. And and we have a strong contingent from Stanford and MIT, which allows us for the first time to co-brand the Sloan Summit with 3 distinguished business schools. I'm also pleased to say that we've sold the global TV rights and we are being live streamed. So if you want to turn around and wave to the camera, people from all over the world, especially Sloans, and you know who you are today. And I'm sorry you can't be with us in this packed auditorium, but we hope you enjoy the summit as well. So the Sloans share things. We share a desire to learn, a desire to understand, and a desire to share that knowledge. And I think that's why we're all here today. Today is not just a reunion, though. Today is an opportunity. An opportunity to spend a day together, to hear about insights, to network, and to have discussions. One of the key things about the Sloan community is getting us all together, making us a stronger and better community, and dare I say it, a stronger and better brand, even better brand. What I'd like to do now is thank some of our generous supporters, London Business School, of course, MIT School, and the Stanford Graduate School of Business. I'd also like to thank some of our other supporters. So, Hiver, I'd particularly like to mention. So this is our events partner. Now, Hiver is in the LBS incubator. It's a startup, and you can support them today by downloading, using, and giving feedback to the team. Now, the founders of the team are in the audience, Olivia, Andrea, and others. Pobble, John Smith, the CEO, yeah, he's here in the audience. John will be hosting the great debate at dinner tonight. We also have Fosho. If we have any members from Fosho here, and from New Finance Limited, and I know you're going to be hearing from Nora later, and also Agnian as well. A special mention to our gold sponsor, Baume & Mercier. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And they've got a wonderful exhibit outside when you go to for coffee and for a break. They've been a gold sponsor, supporter of us, And they've also very kindly donated one of their classic watches to the auction we have today. The auction is in aid of the Helen Stokes Intern Scholarship. Helen Stokes sadly passed away. She was a Sloan Fellow of 2012, and she sadly passed away earlier this year. We'll be hearing more about Helen during the course of the day. So, we're almost ready for takeoff. It's my job to do the flight attendant duties now. So the fire exits are there. In the event of an emergency, please can you reconvene in Sussex Place, which is outside the London Business School between Regent's Park. I'd ask you to put your phones on silent. Now, if you have any questions during the course of the day, there's a group of us from the organising committee which have badges like this, which have got a green line. So please feel free to contact us, and I will be doing logistic updates during the course of the day. We've got a full and very tight schedule today, and remember we aren't being live streamed. So in the interest of time and to maximise speakers and panellists' speaking time, and to ensure that we start and finish on time, we will be keeping bios to a minimum. So I crave forgiveness for that, but full bios are in your pack. I'm very fortunate today to introduce the Dean of London Business School, Professor Sir Andrew Likierman, who's been a great supporter of the Sloans over the year, who's taught the classes, who's been a supporter of the summit. Andrew, welcome on stage.
Great to see you back. Fantastic. Just to say, I mean, in terms of my involvement with the Sloan, I first taught a Sloan class in January 1975. Okay, so I can claim to be a long-standing supporter of this group in terms of revealed preference. In fact, I think I taught for any of the years when I wasn't dean. I think I taught the Sloan class, and that's also because you mentioned good things about the Sloan. The Sloan also always, and I'm sure I speak for my colleagues too, always an interesting group. Always interesting group. Okay, this level of discussion, level of contribution from the class, always great. Can I also just add my congratulations to the founders? Because, I mean, when this thing was mooted a couple of years ago, I think the thought was this would be a great way to bring Sloans together and to keep them in contact with each other. I'm absolutely delighted to have the contact with Stanford and MIT, and I very much hope that also goes from strength to strength over the years. But to have people from Sloan coming back and sharing insights and having discussions, I hope will be a really valuable part of keeping connection with the school. And so I'm really grateful for the fact that this is a vehicle for doing that for the Sloan as a whole. Just thought I'd give you a quick update on what's going on for those who haven't been around for a little while, because there's so much going on here, it may be difficult to keep track some of the time. First of all, in terms of growth, the place continues to grow a great deal. And I just emphasize, we're not growing because of some sense of grandiosity, because we want to be big for its own sake. We're growing because, in terms of having an impact as a school, we need more faculty, and we want to have more alumni of the school. We want to have more people coming through. So that's the reason we are getting bigger all the time. But I very much hope, and I'm convinced, this will not be at the expense of it feeling like an institution where people are treated as people, and this isn't a kind of, a factory of some kind through which people go. In terms of the growth of the last year or so, we've added this year a joint program with Fudan in Shanghai. So people do a pre-experience 1 year here, and then they go to Fudan. So that's the latest of our international links to add to the programs in New York, Dubai, and Hong Kong. And next autumn, we will be having a pre-experience finance program, the Master in Financial Analysis, which will be part of the suite of pre-experience programs. And that will be, therefore, elements of continued growth of the school. In terms of reputation, of course, we pay no attention to rankings at all, none at all. But we were pleased to see that we were named by the FT as the top European Business School 2015. And I mean, I must tell you, of course, in terms of reputation, it matters, I know, a lot to the alumni to make sure they feel part of, you feel part of, an institution that is unambiguously one of the best business schools in the world. And we're very pleased that ranking after ranking demonstrates us to be in that league. That's what matters. I mean, you can go up from number one, you can go from number 1 to number 3 to number 2, whatever it is. These are not very significant. What matters is unambiguously all the time to remain in that top rankings. So we're delighted we are continue to be so. The faculty are very, very active. We'll be hearing from Julian in a moment on his latest book. Very, very interesting set of ideas. But also there's a lot of work going on here, a lot of different areas. The one, of course, perhaps most germane to the Sloan experience is that my colleagues Andrew Scott and Linda Grattan in their book on the 100-year life and what it means in terms of people living much longer and having working lives, therefore, that are not based on a sort of conventional consideration of you leave university at, or whatever it is, at 20-ish and, you know, by 55 or 60 it's all over. I mean, I think the notion, you know, they've got some really interesting things to say on that. So I feel our research is not only well regarded by the academic community, but also has direct relevance to the world of practice, which is very much the stance we are determined to maintain. As far as the campaign is concerned, we set out with this what we thought was a very ambitious, and by British standards is very ambitious goal, of raising £100 million in 5 years. We have raised £125 million in half the time. And I must tell you, it's not just the money. The money is important, but it's not the sense that the community is behind us has been a huge boost to the institution. This is something which in a British context has been very difficult to do. And it's been an enormous sense for us of a feeling that the wider community is behind us. And that's been fantastic for us as an experience. In terms of what we've done with it, what we've done is we've raised the money for the new Samiofa Centre. And just to give you an illustration of how important that is, we would be able to be on our own premises today in a 200-seat lecture theatre if that was already open. And by next year, we would be able to do that for a 200-seat, for a 200-participant conference. So it gives us facilities we've never had before. We will have to use this place a great deal less. But also we have a new alumni centre there, which I think will be a great place for people to use while they're in London, as a great stopover. So it's enabled us to raise most of the money for that. It's enabled us, at the last stage of the campaign, to consolidate our position here in Regent's Park. My concern was that we had only 50 years left on our lease. We were negotiating with the Crown Estate for nearly 6 years to extend the lease. They showed no inclination to do so. And my worry was they wanted us out in order to put flats where London Business School now is. Well, they had a change of heart, and for them, astronomical speed, we have now signed a new 125-year lease, which maintains our position there. And that has been made possible by a gift from an alumnus of the school, who has paid for the extension of that lease. So that's, it's a great way for us to end the campaign. That's been really, really important. Talking of which, the Samiofa Centre down the road, the old Marylebone Town Hall, that will be open certainly by this time next year. We'll actually start taking possession within about 6 months. So we'll start moving things down there. There's no intention, by the way, of filling that. This is expansion space for the next 25 years. This is not something where we suddenly have 1 million new courses or anything like that. So that gives us fantastic possibilities. On the technology front, and this again is something which we're very pleased with in terms of our connection to Sloan's after they've left, we're doing more and more which enables us to do things digitally so that we have remote learning possibilities. We've had 3 MOOCs, we've had webinars, but there's a lot of stuff which we're doing which potentially we can share with our alumni community over the years. So the digital element to what we're doing, I believe, is incredibly important. So that's just a rundown of some of the things. I could go on for a long time, but I won't, because you haven't come here to listen to this. You've got a great programme during the course of today. Just to say, I mean, in terms of the Sloan programme itself, the Sloan programme is unique, and it's something which is very special to the school. My sense, and I go back to this 100-year life notion, is more and more people are likely to want the kind of experience which says, let us pause in the middle of our careers, think about things, and decide which way to go. And I have the feeling this is a programme over the years that could be incredibly successful in terms of growth itself. Now, I say we won't rush for growth just for its own sake, but my sense is this is a very interesting thing for us to be doing. Can I just finally thank very much on your behalf the organising committee for having brought us together, as I said, the founders for having started the whole thing off, and thank you too for the speakers, those who are here already, for coming along today. This is, I think this is a great occasion, and as I say, I'm so pleased to have this, and may go from strength to strength. As far as I'm concerned, I'm right behind you. Thank you very much indeed.